It's an ML Sports Take here, brought to you by our good friends over at Batavia Downs Gaming and St. Bonaventure University's online Masters in Journalism. Get your degree in under 2 years. You can fill out the survey right there online at sbujournalism.com. Do want to tell people, subscribe to my channel as well at ML Sports Platter. I would love to get to 3,000 subscribers by like the end of February. So tell everybody, share, rate, review the platter on the audio side for the Apple and the Spotify, but really trying to push that YouTube right now, averaging around 28 to 32,000 views a week. So keep it going, keep subscribing, keep following, keep liking videos, keep sharing. All that stuff really helps a ton. Also, partner friends, select ones, Mark Alberti, Dan Davidson Jr. and Sr., and Matt Motika, I thank you as well. 84-70 St. Bonaventure. They beat Loyola Chicago. First things first, Loyola Chicago is absolutely horrific. The Bonnies needed a win. And I'm not going to lie, in the first half, I was ready to kind of prepare this with, a few questions with like, is the first question tonight to kind of like officially say like, is Mark Schmidt kind of like, should this be it? Like the players have quit. I can't believe what's happened to this team. This team has no legs, which they didn't in the first half. It seemed like every outside shot was short or overshot to the back rim. It was 24-20 somehow after Simmons made that three. And then, Loyola obviously was in firm control the entire way. It was a 9-point game. Mitchell makes that 7-footer. It ends up being like a 9-point game there at one point. It's a 10-point game. Joseph makes the 22-foot three-pointer. It's a 14-point game, and I'm going, oh my God. Oh my God, this team's going to be 0-6 in the A-10. They're going to lose to Loyola Chicago at home. What? And it was almost like a second half that we needed to kind of, I don't want to say like, let's see what they're made of, because I think we're maybe past that even, unless they can kind of get on a little bit of a run against some gauntlet teams with St. Louis coming in on Friday, which I'll be there. I'm working stats. Actually, ironically, I got an email from ESPN, and they need me to work the game. So I wish the team was better, but I am looking forward to it. I've already been texting with Coach Crowley to hopefully see him and a couple others on campus, and hopefully finally get to meet Woj after all these years. Believe it or not, we've emailed before and done video stuff over, but would love to finally in person type of thing. So looking forward to hopefully saying hello to some people on campus. So if you're there, let me know. Wish I could get to the Burton for a burger beforehand, but I think I'm going to leave Central New York around like 12:30 and get down there by like 3:15, 3:30 call time. Maybe leave at 12:15 and maybe go shopping somewhere in town, but we'll see. Highly unlikely these days with the ML Sports Platter budget. So we go to the second half, and it's a 14-point game, right? This Joseph kid for Loyola, alley-oop dunk. And I'm like, you know what? Like, do I just turn this off? And then Charles makes a three, and they give up a layup the other way. And I'm like, can the defense do anything? Like, is there like, can we get like 6 to 8 minutes of urgency? And all of a sudden, Simmons makes a three. They get a stop. Mitchell with a defensive rebound. Egbunaway makes a jumper, and it's 7. And I'm like, okay. And then like they start making shots. They start making free throws. They turn up the pressure, the full court press. My dog goes downstairs to bark. I flip on. I'm going back and forth between the phone with the Sabres and the Bonnies, and the Bonnies and the Sabres. I spent like 3 minutes watching the Sabres. I hopped on the computer quick. And I run back upstairs. And the next thing you know, like the Bonnies have cut it way down, right? And then like I had it on the phone, and it was 11 points. I saw that Charles made free throw 1 of 2. And, kind of then they go back and forth. Like Rahovic made a big three-pointer, which this is a game that he can be more of a factor in. And he played well defensively because Loyola Chicago just isn't that fast, isn't that good, isn't that athletic compared to, I don't know, a host of 6 or 7 or maybe even 8, 9, 10 A10 teams and some teams out of conference too. But Rahovic went in there and he was effective. The bench was decent. and he cut it to 6, and then it was back the other way, and they make a 3-pointer. You're like, my God, 9-point game. But the pressure kept coming. The pressure kept coming, and Simmons made a 3, and this was the big turning point for me. 10:58 to go. He makes a 3. They get another stop. Bowen makes 1 or 2 free throws. Then Simmons makes a 3-pointer as the pressure continues to ratchet up. They get another stop. Charles gets a big rebound. Then 2 free throws by Buddy. Then the game is tied. And from the tie game on, a couple minutes before that, like shot making stop, pressure, urgency, shot making stop. And it was just a flow where, and the crowd wasn't that great. They weren't that loud. I can't even imagine there were more than 3,100 people there, right? I mean, come on, a Tuesday night with the team playing like this, and it was probably 8 degrees down there. Not that you're going to do anything else in town, but you know how people are in fans. I mean, come on, unless you're a season ticket holder, or you're like a wicked diehard, and you're not. I mean, you're probably not going to this game. I probably would have, but Then Charles makes a 3-pointer, and they're up 5 after the 2 free throws by Simmons. And from there, really the Bonnies rolled. And that was kind of, it was a couple, I think it was like a minute before then, and I had gone up and I looked, I go, oh my God, they're up 5. And I had to go back and kind of see what happened there for that little stretch when I was watching the Sabres. My dog was going nuts. I don't know why he does this, but he goes outside. Tomorrow's his birthday, so happy birthday to Cooper. He'll be 10. And we're going to go do some stuff tomorrow morning. I'm probably going to go get him a donut. And then I'm going to take him to the pet store and stuff. So we're going to have a fun day while I work and do my normal stuff. Don't worry, I'm not just going to, blow off work and, take the whole day off here for my dog. But we're going to do some fun stuff tomorrow because I love that dude. But he sits out there in the snow like every night. He just likes to lay down and survey some shit. And he's like barking at stuff outside. I'm like, dude, you got to come in. It's like, tonight is just not the night, man. It's 10, 11 degrees. I mean, what a crazy guy. I didn't leave him out there long, don't worry. But he's just, God, he just will not stop. So Charles, he goes 62-57. And that was when I finally was able to come up and really, really focus. And then again, just constant pressure. Simmons makes a 3-pointer. And all of a sudden the Bonnies had all these, all the legs under them. So I couldn't, I'm trying to read this in the second half. And I'm like, did this team literally quit in the first half while they didn't have some legs under them? Which one came first? Was it chicken or egg type of thing? Did they not have legs and then say, to hell with this, we're done anyway, and quit simultaneously? Or were they just exhausted? They couldn't were they not focused? I couldn't, in the second half, I'm going okay, I mean, if the team had done this, we saw this against Colgate, right? Colgate's better than Loyola, but that was earlier in the year when we thought the Bonnies were good. When they were down in the first half like that, I didn't expect the second half to be like this with urgency, because in the first half you kind of thought, Fordham, St. Joe's, and the games we've seen recently, it's kind of I mean, we kind of felt like they were toast going into this game, win or lose, right? And then the urgency, just having the legs underneath them, I was like, well, it's almost where did this come from based on what we thought they were against those bad teams? And then Simmons makes another 3-pointer, and it's 11-point game, and they cruise from there. But I couldn't really understand how they went from no energy, almost like a quit look, to tons of urgency and legs. I mean, did they get screamed at? Did they decide to do something? Did they figure out they were going to be 0-6 in the A10 and lose to Loyola at home? I mean, did they? I don't know. The defense, I think, had they not pressed, I think that Loyola maybe makes a game out of this, because, again, Bonaventure just losing places on the floor defensively. They just are not following plays. And then they pressed, and it was almost okay, it was almost like with them running around more, it just got them into chaos. Maybe that's what needs to happen for this team, because in defensive sets, they just are behind. In the first half, it was dude, watch the ball. The ball goes to the left, and the guy cuts around, and a guy just leaves them and just lets them run around. 3-pointers. Guys were open all over the place for Loyola. I mean, they went 11 of 29 in this game. Could have easily made 15, 16 of those threes. They were left open countless times in the first half. Loyola also rebounded Bonaventure by 7. Just ridiculous. Now, Bonaventure's defense, with the pressure and all the rest, they created 16 turnovers. Bonaventure only had 4 turnovers. They really took care of the ball. But maybe that's where we're at. Maybe it's chaos. Maybe it's just F it. Let's just press the whole game. Let's just go 40 minutes of hell. Let's just go all Nolan Richardson. By the way, if you can get Osasui and Grahovic to give you 35 total minutes, maybe you can do a little bit of that. I mean, listen, Buddy, Bowen, Charles, they're probably not great defensive set guys in the half court anyway. Igbunaway, these guys can get blown by. Maybe they're just let them run around. I don't really know, but listen, I give them credit in the second half. I mean, that's fine. They found something, and it was an urgency thing. Maybe their legs, I don't know. Sometimes you just come out and it's a lethargic night. I'm not really sure. I did love the fact that they went to the free throw line 20 times. They made 19 of them. There was an absolute awareness once the chaos started and they started playing fast. Get points, get points, get points. So once Loyola was just behind every defensive play and they were running out of gas from the pressure, Bonaventure comes down in the offensive end and they basically had their way with Loyola. They could ball movement them to death. And then it was open three, or it was an inside deal here, or you could drive to the hoop, and their legs were then dead, and then they just fouled, and that was it. So Bonaventure won a lot of key team stats. I mean, they had 12 steals to 2. They had only 4 turnovers to 16. They had, each team had 18 assists, but those were big ones. 23 defensive rebounds, which were huge. A lot of them coming late. I mean, 29 for Loyola, but I thought the 23 for the Bonnies, coming when the urgency came, right, together. Mitchell, 11 boards, 18 points. Again, he had a few games there where it was bad stretches, and I thought that they feed him unnecessarily at times offensively. But I think overall, you just can't really complain about his game this season. I think it's been kind of a team thing. I don't want to pick on him. Just a couple of games, he was kind of like, eh. Igbunaway is just, I said that, I think, last video or the one before that. He's a really a roller coaster player. I mean, he can either hit a bunch of shots and get you going, or it's like he gives you 7 and you're like, dude, where were you? Hit a couple of steals. Okay, that's fine. But Mitchell, Charles, Simmons was nuts in this game. He had 26. Again, Grahovic, maybe his best game of the year so far, just from a complete defensive standpoint, and he gave him double digits. That's nice. Osasui was great defensively. He can't really score, but, they got some big points out of the big three, man. I mean, Simmons, Charles, and Mitchell, quick math there, 42-50, 42-60 points, right? 26 and 16, 42, and then 18. Yeah. 60 between the three of them. That's just some quick math there. That's not I took one math course at Bonas. I was solid in high school. Science? We'll drop that. So, but yeah, I mean, I've been meaning to go 4, 5, 6 minutes on these recaps, and they've been in this wicked slump, and I don't know why, but I like him able to go 11 to 13, 14 minutes. I have no idea what's happening. A lot of people recently leaving some awesome comments for me on Facebook, just with like the whole Sean McDermott stuff and the Bills coverage and who the next head coach will be and the Bonnies recaps and all that sort of stuff. So again, I don't want to sound like I'm begging, but certainly anything helps, man. Like the follows, the shares, like subscribing to the channel at ML Sports Platter on YouTube, like liking the videos on YouTube, just trying to pump up those views. I think this week, even alone on Facebook, just from the Bills videos, I've got about 14 to 15,000 views. YouTube this week could get up to 40,000 views. So just trying to kind of keep climbing and keep building this thing, and obviously couldn't do it without all of you. It is a challenge. There's one guy doing it all, and the content and booking guests and just kind of grinding all the time and putting out a ton of videos and content for everybody. But these recaps here are, again, I do them for you more than me, and I think at the end of the collective day, from where I was at like the 8-minute mark of the first half, like, oh my God, I went from that to kind of some surprise in the second half that they were able to simultaneously find legs, and they just were urgent. And I really would have loved urgency against St. Joe's, against Fordham. I mean, if they press a ton and there's just monster urgency, like, do they win, a couple of those games? I mean, LaSalle, people, like, they lost by 4 to Fordham at home. Like, a little bit of urgency, can they make that up? Of course. I mean, they made up double digits on Loyola tonight. I mean, how much better is Fordham than Loyola? You can make that up on St. Joe's on the road, you lose by 4. I mean, my God, they lost by 4 to Fordham, 4 to St. Joe's, 4 to LaSalle. They made up 10, 12 points tonight in one game to Loyola. You make up 12 points against 3 teams. So maybe they just need to go play in chaos. Who the hell knows, man? But I don't know. I guess it was good to get a win. Now we see what happens on ESPN2 against the now ranked Billikens of St. Louis. Good luck. I'll be there. If you're there, let me know. Shoot me a text. If you have my number, shoot me a DM somewhere. And hopefully I can see you in the RC. And we'll go from there. I'll be sitting next to, I don't know who's doing play-by-play. I think it might be Mike Corey, because he was talking about how like he's starting the A10 tour again. So I'm going to either text or call him tomorrow. I love working with Mike. And but if you see the ESPN broadcast on TV and like the play-by-play guy in color, I'm right by the play-by-play guy with like stats. So hopefully I'll get a little airtime. Maybe I'll sneak over to the camera and say hello. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to get on the camera. But if they show me, they show me. But it's going to be, again, I wish the team was better, but I'm really, really happy that they got a win tonight. And I am looking forward to at least being back on campus, because I know when I walk on campus and walk in that building, it'll hit me, because it always does. Thanks for watching. Bonnies get finally their first A10 win of the season, 84-70 over Loyola Chicago. A long recap here brought to you by Batavia Downs Gaming and St. Bonaventure University's online Masters in Journalism. Thanks to select partner friends again, Dan Davidson Jr. and Sr., Mark Alberti, and of course, Matt Motika, Tika in your speaker, and in your speaker, sorry. And if you know, you know. That's all there is to it. Good old WSBU days 25 years ago, 26 years ago. Yikes. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.